Thank you. I am having a great time. It seems like everybody's already heading out to have a good time, and you can't bother me. I've worked at Yuck Yucks before. This is quiet. The topic I have is it's never been a better time to start a web business. And I'm going to talk about obviously why. Is my fly down? Why, how, and does where matter? First, for those that may not know me, I have no idea. My bio, I'm born in Toronto, born and raised. I went to school at Western Ontario and ended up having to do a year at Windsor as well for bad grades. Moved to Phoenix for 25 years, and now I live in Coronado, San Diego. My first startup was a company called Pro Innovative Concepts, which made a squeeze ball, very unweb oriented. In fact, if you went to gripp.com, it was for a men's unit extender. So this was pre-web. We didn't care what our website name was. Started a hedge fund in '98. I've run that since 98. And in 2006, I was not the first to do a web video show, but I caught the trend. We started Wall Strip, sold it to CBS in 8 months. I have an incubator LLC called Social Leverage. Made about 24 web investments, including a few in Canada. And now I am co-founder of StockTwits and CEO, so I'm active in the social media space. So I come at this to you from both an entrepreneur and not a VC, but an angel investor and a definite supporter of all entrepreneurs, including female. I funded 4 female-led ventures, including recently a company called dailyworth.com, which is targeting the female financial market, or the women's financial market. Here are my philosophies. I don't have a lot of slides, but these are my philosophies. Social leverage over financial leverage. We are in a boom related to social leverage. Too small to fail, that's something that a philosophy behind that I've been writing about for a while. Next, I believe you should punch a banker and hug a developer, and you should do that every day. Next is, I come from a Jewish home, we didn't learn this, foreplay is the new location. I'll get into that for you guys. Next is very important, my life started to change as a better entrepreneur when I was not just visualizing this stuff, because I have an active imagination, but when I started writing it down. In the old days of Blogger. Then, targeting. Targeting is, we are in a target-rich environment. You can't be lazy here. You can find the investors that you want, and you can target them, and you can hunt them easier than ever. Think about how we used to have to use the phone. Next, social proof, overrated. Even though I love AngelList, if you lead with social proof, you're saying that you have weaknesses elsewhere. Social proof is overrated. Next, ride trends. I've made a lot of money being third into an industry. Let the big VCs tell you and do the research and show where the markets are. Accelerate, it's the word that I use the most. I don't like the word pivot. I think it's overused. I don't think you should be proud of the word pivot. I think you should focus on the word accelerate. Even if you're going in different directions, acceleration is good. I don't like the word lean or fat. My in-laws are very cheap. They will always be cheap. Even if they're rich, they're cheap. Same with lean. It's a state of mind. You do not want to be lean or fat. You want to accelerate. Because if you're lean and lean, when are you going to know to get fat? And once you figure out who your customers are, you don't want to be focused on the word lean. Dave McClure has been saying that, everybody says this, but I'm telling you as a guy who's done 50 companies and screwed up my own money so many times, cap structure matters. The only time to go slow is before you get married, before you start that company. Focus on the paperwork early. Next thing is, I know it sucks, but I do it all the time. Failure is good. If you want my money, I assume you're not that smart because I write about my good stuff. The bad stuff, everybody has failures. I didn't know Brad, my investor in StockTwits, had a $150 million lawsuit, or I probably would not have called him. Next, very important, I play this with my kids. I play it on my iPad, Risk. If you don't understand the board game of Risk, you are going to struggle as an entrepreneur, okay? Risk is an incredible board game. If you start from the middle of the world, you are not going to win the game. And the importance of being an entrepreneur is not about the jets and it's not about the Porsches. That was 1990. Now it's about the Scions. And it's about less is more. And that's the way, that's why I'm so bullish and boomish on social leverage, is because, you know, Radian 6, those guys aren't going to go buy 100 Porsches. They're going to invest in 100 startups. So don't listen to the media. So on Play Risk, when you play Risk, if you start from the corners of the world, you are going to win a lot more often. Okay? I am competing at StockTwits against Bloomberg, Reuters, even though I'm not really competing, but that is a target-rich environment who are sitting in the middle of the world protecting their businesses. And so Reuters, First Data, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, you can't beat them. CNBC, I've tried, you can't beat them. When CEOs are making 800 grand and they're still profitable, you are not going to beat them. But you can chip away, you can come at them from different angles. So in a game of Risk, play it and understand, start out from Chile or start out from Western Australia, and that's just like your first web product. I'll come back to those philosophies. But let's take a look. I'm a financial guy, and Dave gave you some good points. We can talk about being bullish or bearish, but let's look at some history. Here is and trust me, you can do this in 5 minutes a day. I'm going to show you how to do this because it's very important. If I can do it, and I'm living proof, then you can learn this stuff, and you want to learn faster. Here's the 12-month rolling returns of the Dow Industrial Averages. The last time I spoke in Canada, that's what the rolling 12 months return was. And I had this slide up and I said, we are either going to zero or this is one of the greatest times to invest. And that was in October of 2008. I spoke in Toronto and nobody left the room to invest. So we all missed the bottom. But as you can see, that we had 100% growth in the market from this point. Okay? And now people are talking about a bubble. Well, they're wrong, okay? Unless history, we do some crazy historical stuff, we're in basically an area where I think the bulls and bears are going to be fighting it out. But these are important things that you can look up on the internet to kind of get a feel. Don't look for excuses of why not to invest or why not start your company. Next, back in 2008, when I came to speak, right about here, the VIX, the red line, which is a measure of volatility, was at way, the levels never seen, even in 1929. So I said, like, we were either going to zero, so following the VIX is a very important thing, because most of the time, it just straggles along here. So in 2008, the S&P was at 700, and the VIX was at 90. And you can tell that what happened. The world did not come to an end. And probably a historical bottom was made. So again, it's very important to kind of check out the macro pictures. Here is why it costs so fucking much for a crispy crunch now that I come here from the United States. You guys are making it very difficult for guys like me. But at the same time, Canada is a place now that you can attract talent. So don't use that excuse that with the dollar above par, I think it's still above par, this is a great time to be in Montreal, Vancouver, Toronto, or wherever in Canada, because there's no reason to say you can't attract talent. So let me flip back to my philosophies and tell you how I've used them. Social leverage. Great story how I met serendipitously. I was in Phoenix, not the mecca for startups. And this goes back to where you need to start a startup. Montreal is Silicon Valley compared to Phoenix, Arizona. Especially when I started investing in startups in 2005, when everybody I went to wanted to invest in real estate. including my mom. Mom, I got a startup idea. She goes, fuck that. I can earn 10% in real estate. So don't tell me that living in Montreal is a problem. Yes, we need the venture capitalists and the government to trickle down money on us. We need them. But it is their responsibility. But you don't need Howard coming to set up an office in Montreal or Toronto. We need the venture capitalists and the angel investors to do the targeting and to do the hunting and to call ex-Canadians, or like what C100 is doing. And, you know, I build trust here. I can take the word from, you know, 1 Year Lab. I can take, you know, the word from Real Ventures and the rest of the guys here. Now that I know Montreal and I know Toronto, but I don't have to be here. I just have to have partners. So what's happening right now is so bullish because I'm developing relationships and I don't have to travel from San Diego to Toronto to Montreal. I can make $50,000, $100,000 investments because I understand that Canada is investing in themselves again and spending money. But from Phoenix, when I found this company called golfnow.com, which is probably the most successful investment that I've made personally, which was a tea time company, Expedia for tea times. You know, I didn't need money to make the investment. I didn't know from venture capital. I'm running a hedge fund, and I Googled term sheet, and sure enough, Brad Feld's name came up. So I go to Brad Feld's site, and he's got a whole thing on term sheets, and I go, well, this is unbelievable. So I'm cutting and pasting it into my term sheet to send to Golf Now, and you know, I'm reading Brad, so that now I know Brad Feld. And then I'm reading his blog roll, and I click through to Rick Siegel, who I've become good friends with, and I click through to Fred Wilson, and I go to Fred Wilson's blog, and I'm leaving these, you know, I'm getting this phenomenal information from him back in 2005, and I'm leaving these silly, wacky comments on his blog that are unrelated to anything, because I didn't need anything from him, and I was just appreciative. You know, this is the early days of social media. I was just appreciative that Fred was giving. And over time, I developed a friendship with him. This is where foreplay comes in. Even though I didn't know about foreplay, intuitively, I was very good at social media foreplay, I guess. And this is pre-Twitter, and we became friends. I met up with Fred. First time I met up with him, and I said, you know, I got an idea for a show that I want to do on stocks. And Fred had